With a GHGC 107 ball named Melvin.
Bet on me. Let's go. Bet on me. I'm going over top of this. Bet on me. Bet on me.
What's up, y'all? It's man Melvin Taylor, aka Melvin Taylor. Hi. Guess what? We're leaving the Black Adam movie. Just saw it. First things first, out the gate. Would I watch it again? Yes, I would. I had a great time watching it. I felt the movie was good. It was a very good comic book movie. I felt that The Rock did a fantastic job playing Tef Adam, Black Adam. He made it believable to say, yo, he murdered a lot of folks and don't care. It was very different from his usual super, I don't want to say superhero, but like, big tough guy, heart full of gold, is always going, I got to save them, I got to do this, I got to do that. No, this didn't feel like that at all. This felt like, my name is Black Adam. I solely care about the people of Kahndaq, and that's it. And if you ain't a part of Kahndaq, you need to get the F up out of here. That's what that felt like. And it carried the weight of the movie, and he did a great job doing so. Aside from that, I felt that the JSA, great job from them. Aldous Hodge, outstanding work. Pierce Brosnan, outstanding work. Absolutely. I felt that Quintessa and Noah also did a good job as Atom Smasher and Cyclone. I wish that we would have got more of them in the film. However, I understand time constraints, And I felt that the action was fantastic. Like, it was a non-stop ride to a degree. That's how I felt leaving the movie. It was a non-stop ride to a degree of action. Okay, look, here's a little bit of context, a little bit of dialogue, but right back to this action. And it was a lot of fun. It also does help to set up the DCEU. Shout out to that end credit scene. I ain't gonna say nothing just yet, but, excuse me, the food I had there was good. Shout out to that end credit scene, because it was cool. The whole theater was like, oh my God. And I even yelled out, man, that boy look good. And it was fun. Again, I would give it a 7 out of 10. I would for sure go see it again. I'm probably gonna see it again this weekend. Might buy me another Black Adam shirt. We'll see about that. But actually, no, hold on. I got no Black Adam shirt. I might get me a Hawkman shirt real quick and a Dr. Fate shirt, because they would put in work in the movie. Like, I understand that Cyclone and Atom Smasher were, they still gathering, getting themselves together. Shout out to Atom Smasher at the end, my boy. I see what you was trying to do. Don't push it though. But they was putting in some work. All right, that's enough of that. If you want the spoiler review, we'll get into that right now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. I'm back home now, and I can talk to you some more about Black Adam, and we can talk a little bit of spoilers. I actually wrote a lot of stuff down because I wanted to make sure that I hit all the points that I was thinking about. And excuse me, I felt like if I just talked about it coming right out, I wouldn't have hit all the points that I wanted to hit. So this may be a little bit of a long video, but nonetheless, we're going to get through everything it is that I want to get through. So spoiler review, we will start out with the good and then work our way through the okay. So like I was saying earlier, I felt that The Rock did a phenomenal job as Black Adam, Tef Adam. Very believable as a anti-hero, somebody that's, I'm not necessarily going to save everybody all the time. If you're not my people, you're not my people. And I could see why people were like, why is this so different? Like, I don't like this because it's not The Rock. He's being an actor. And that was one of the best parts about it, that he was not being himself. He was being Black Adam. And it felt cool. Next thing, also, like I said earlier, Aldous and Pierce Brosnan both did a fantastic job as Hawkman and Dr. Fate. I wish we would have got more of them. Like, I understand that we had to do the origin story kind of thing to set everything all up. But I felt that there were moments that we could have dived a little bit deeper, even sometimes where we did, and we'll get into this. This movie has a lot of slow motion, right? A ton of slow motion. But I felt like some of those points where we had slow motion, we could have maybe did a flashback to who JSA used to be. But I get that we might not want to do all that yet, just in case later on down the line, Hold on. There we go. That's a little bit better. Just in case later on down the line, you might want to bring some of those characters in, maybe from another Earth, or maybe they just been around and weren't ready to come back out, or felt like they didn't need to be back out just yet. So I felt that they did a good job. Their kinship and brotherhood was thoroughly felt throughout the movie. It felt like they were old friends that were just reconnecting with one another, and as if they needed more time together. Like their just energy around each other felt inspiring and felt like, I want more of these two. And not necessarily spoiler alert, because we're already in the spoilers part, but when Dr. Fate died, I felt that. And I felt it not so much as like, damn, he didn't have to necessarily die. I'll get into that a little bit later. But more so that I felt it for Hawkman. I felt it for Carter, because he was like, I'm losing my brother type of thing. And the whole scene with him picking up the helmet and doing the multiple Hawkmans, because he's like, I learned this from an old friend. Like, yo, that was cold. That was cold. That was cold. Action was great. It felt like Black Adam is Superman speed, power, right? And like he's I'm the new big bad force on the planet. Even when the intergame Ethereum bike was like super speeding and he was going that fast too, it felt like a good test of where his powers are with him just being reacclimated to coming back. Now I understand that what Amanda Waller said, in that the longer he's oriented, the more in control, the more powerful he will be. So it makes sense, because there were a couple points here where I was like, yo, it feels like he should be stronger than this. But it makes sense that he's only been around for a little bit, so he's still regaining all of that. And by the time we see him again, he will be much more powerful. I like that. I like that a lot. I thought like I said, the action was great. I thought the JSA as a whole, they were a pickup in this. Like I said before, I wish we could have got a little bit more out of them. I felt that Quintessa and Noah both did a decent job. We probably could have got a little bit more of them in their intros. I'll get to that a little bit later. But I felt that they did a good job. They added some aspects here and there, just like newbies of the team trying to figure it out, and also just trying to give a little bit of depth to their character, so that way we cared about them more. That was really good. And the Sabak fight was cool too, because I was like, oh, this feels like it. JSA, from what they were saying. Okay. There we go. It felt like JSA maybe could have handled Sabak, but clearly they could not. And they needed Black Adam to come back. And I like the fact that Dr. Fate was like, I'm giving us another option to be able to make that happen. Excuse all of that. That was just the beanbag over here that was about to take down my whole green screen. I probably should have just did my OG setup, but I wanted to rush and get this because Lakers about to come on, and y'all know how much I love watching my Lakers. So that was cool. I felt that the mom, Adriana, made some really solid points when she was talking about, yo, JSA, like, y'all coming to take Black Adam away, but where were y'all when Intergang came and invaded us and made us start, you know, going through all this BS that we're going over here? Why y'all coming over here to mess with our hero? Y'all haven't been around to help us out. Like, she was making some really solid points about the fact that y'all coming over here taking our champion, the guy that is here helping to save us. Like, that's not cool. And I get what Hawkman was trying to say and do, because he's explaining, you know, Black and White as a hero, this is how things are supposed to go. You know, things are settled now, they're solved. And she's like, no, it's not. Like, they still out here. They still committing crimes. They treating people harshly. And what are y'all? Y'all just trying to take our guy that's trying to do all the good stuff for us. Like, nah, y'all need to cut loose and get up out of here. She was making some real good points. And a lot of times I was like, yo, I see her point. And I agree with her, and they set up the story in a fantastic way for her to have some great rebuttals. And I also felt that she did a fantastic job being a good, what do I want to say? A good worldview for Black Adam and where he eventually should go. He has his view of, I want to protect Kahndaq and my people, right? But on a larger scale of protecting his people, and then I'm assuming eventually, like maybe I could be wrong, figuring out that the world itself is his people when he's in a Justice League, JSA, Suicide Squad. Oh my goodness, the world is about to end on a bigger scale, or maybe universe type of movie. It feels like some of that may seep through him with him being around her long enough to be able to learn that. So I felt that was really good. First of all, I liked where they went with his son was the original champion. And he came back and his son gave the power to his dad to save him. And I just want to say shout out to my boy that plays the original champion, because that's the same dude that plays The Rock on the TV show Young Rock. And I was like, wait a minute, I know that face. So that was really cool, being able to see that. And when he first like turned into Shazam, right? That was a cool thing, learning, oh, it wasn't him. That was his son that was champion, right? And that he didn't even really have a chance to what do I want to say, rule over Kahndaq. Granted, I felt that maybe the hardships that he went through as an adult is what shaped him to be who he is, which is why he is so ruthless and vile, because he was a slave for so long, right? But I felt that if he was ruler, he could have been maybe a little bit better. But I'm losing my point. Getting back to his son, when he first turned into the champion, I felt like he had the hair, and I feel like they turned the ear, and he had a pointy ear. I was like, oh, this makes a little bit more sense why the Rock's character didn't have the pointy ears and the hair, because he's not the original champion. And it also adds a great dichotomy of not only is he the second person, right, to have the Shazam powers, but also when you see the innocence, right, of Billy Batson at some point in time come to fight the stubbornness of Black Adam, you can see those two vantage points of Harut, Black Adam's son, and Billy Batson, like going head to head, or excuse me, not going head to head, but being on the same page of like, yo, we got to save this, we got to do this, we got to do that. And Black Adam's like, nah, like I'm not with that. And because you are, however they're going to set it up, are in my way, I got to take care of you and I got to take you out. Right? Like you could almost do it as like you're supposed to be replacing my son, but you're not him, so I got to take you out, kind of thing. I think if we ever do get to that, that is what's going to go on with that. CGI was fantastic. They did an amazing job with like Atom Smasher. Really felt like the I was about to say the girth. Excuse me. I really felt him make an impact as he grew large. I felt that Quintessa's like wind dancing to be able to use her powers was great. I'm intrigued to see in what way she uses it more as she grows. It felt like she's really only just getting into it. And again, she just joined the JSA not that long ago. And I read the comic. She had like a little bit of interaction, but it felt like she has much room to be able to grow. And in addition to that, also her being so smart, and her so scientific and being able to use the nanobots. And granted, it came from a dark place with how she got her powers, but nonetheless, I think that there is much room for her to be able to be a really good sidekick partner to Hawkman until we get Hawkgirl around there. So who else we got? Yo, some of the quips in there was good. Like the sarcasm stuff was nice with him learning sarcasm. And then telling the Men in Black sent you. I'm happy that by the end that got to pay off, because throughout it I was just like, it's kind of funny that he just keep mucking this up. Like he keeps messing it up every single time he does it. That was pretty cool. Amanda Waller and the Peacemaker connection felt great because it brings it closer to the larger DCEU. I obviously I wish we got more Amanda Waller, but she served her purpose and did a good job to help set up everything we got and to pay it off towards the end when we eventually see Henry Cavill pop in as Superman. So she did great. The whole Peacemaker connection was good because it feels like there are larger things at play here, larger things that are going to go on. And I'm gonna get to, I might as well talk some about it now because I'm eventually, because the next point is me talking about Superman instead of the DCEU connection. So everybody was yelling when Superman came on the screen, right? I even yelled out, boy, that boy looked good. So it was a lot of fun. I tried to record it, but it was what it was. And it's cool to see that, Superman's line, I'm paraphrasing at this point, but it's been a long time since somebody's made the world this nervous. Like, we should talk. I think that actually might be what he said. But it felt cool to know that all of this does take place within the larger DCEU and that there are pockets for it all to make sense together. I like seeing that. I know that there are some fans out there that are like, I don't need everything to connect. Like, just give me some good stories and I'm gonna have a good time with. But I like seeing that connection because that's where we get everything from. Like, we get these comics, we get these animated movies, we get these video games, and they all connect. It would only make sense for the actual movies when we get them to connect. I understand that they don't want to do the whole Marvel thing, but they have a leg up now. They have a leg up because you've been able to see everything that Marvel is doing and currently some of the trials and tribulations they're going through by expanding so much. So now whoever is going to eventually be in charge of the DCEU is going to have a lot of work cut out for them, but they also have a great opportunity to be able to make all of this work. And you got legit movie stars who are like, I'm ready, I'm down to go, whatever you need me to do. Like, I'll set up a whole world tour. Like, let's do it. Let's do it and let's make it happen. So I thought that was great. I was shocked that when, oh man, I'm forgetting the son's name. What was the son's name? Amon. I was shocked that when Amon almost died, that Black Adam actually said Shazam and gave himself up. Like, it was very eerie, and I almost didn't believe it. I was like, damn, like, I didn't see that coming. And that's what also gave me the perspective of what the mom was saying previously, that the growth from him, right? To be able to do that showed that there is room for him to be able to understand the world he's in today and to grow as a character. And that showed a lot. I was like, bro, there's no way in hell y'all about to. He probably just about to go chip. I'll get myself up, sure, but reluctantly. But he didn't do that. He almost changed in a way. And it was very like, whoa. It didn't compute with me at first. I was like, I don't believe I'm seeing this. So that just showed me a lot of great promise and what it is that we could get in the future with another movie. I love that when he said Shazam again, it came back, he had the cape and the new costume. That was cool, being able to see that. It felt more like the real Black Adam that we see in the comics and that we see in the games and the animated movies and everything like that. That felt cooler to be able to have, and that everything was like gold too. Like, that was, take my gold out. Like, that felt really that felt cool to be able to see. Shazam. Damn, I ain't get no powers. What did I write here? Okay, so here we go. Another point, I told you it was going to be a long video. Another point that I thoroughly enjoyed was Black Adam setting up the larger implications of what was going on, right? The fact that's what autocorrect threw me off. The fact that him being around the geopolitical implications that it sets off, like the whole reason Amanda Waller and the JSA even popped up, because what if he walks somewhere else and starts causing destruction? That alone, that conversation there, a golden nugget to be able to build upon. Like, that was, put it this way, that was some erythrium, right? Or some, I would say vibranium in Marvel, but that was some erythrium that you could use to be able to grow a larger story from, right? It's almost as if his erythrium was like his version of kryptonite, so to speak. But that felt great because, there we go, getting back to my point. That felt great because it sets up a piece of what we could get in the future. The same way that I was like, it's great to see this growth from Black Adam because we could see him grow as a character. We feel like the mom character, Marissa could, is it, I don't want to say Marissa, it wasn't Marissa, it was Adriana, excuse me. And it felt like Adriana could be a way for him to also be able to grow and kind of be like a viewpoint that he could use later on in the future. It felt like that set up a great lane for World War III, where eventually if something happens to Adriana and Tomas, why do I keep wanting to say their name? Because his last name is Tomas. I'm going to just say the Tomas family. There we go, because I keep wanting to say Tomas. It felt like if something ever happens to the Tomas family in the future, and he's going from place to place causing destruction, trying to figure out what was going on. Sorry, I was about to go to sleep. That it sets the ground, it sets the table for that, essentially. And it gives a great story of what happens when you have, like, what if we had a Superman in America and sent him over to Russia to take care of that? Now, what's their response going to be? Or we sent him to China, or we sent him to Brazil or England, or wherever it is that we had issues, like we sent him to Iraq, wherever it is that we have issues. What kind of thing does that set up? And that is the basis for a great story later on. And it felt like the story right now is just very simple, but that could really be something Like that could be a treasure trove if they use it correctly in the future, because it just sets the table for so many things, and for an almost like a civil war ish. Well, I mean, granted, it's like World War, I want to say 3 in the comic books, but what we got in Civil War, it sets the table for something like that later on down the line. I'm upset that Dr. Fate died, but did he really die? Did he actually just vaporize? I felt as if he served his purpose trying to hold off Sabak long enough for Black Adam to eventually be able to get there. Speaking of, when Sabak shot that shit in the sky, I was like, nah, like Superman needs to show up at this point. Like, there's some bullshit. Superman needs to be here because there's like some real fuck shit that's going on. But luckily Black Adam got back there in enough time to be able to make it work. I really don't feel like Dr. Fate had to die. I get that he served the purpose of the story in dying. Didn't feel like he needed to nonetheless. And everybody throwing up the rock. Like everybody in there, Jay-Z fans, for a minute, I was about to start, say Hova, Hova, Hova. Like I was ready in the theater to be like, yo, it ain't nothing but black people in here that I see. If I make this joke, everybody in here finna laugh, but I'm not finna do it. I'm gonna respect the story of what's going on. But all right, so that was a lot of the good that I liked about Black Adam. Let's get to the backside of it. Some of the things that I did not like, there was a lot of voiceover, especially in the beginning. There was a ton of voiceover, and it felt like I was getting dialogue and exposition dumps throughout it that I didn't necessarily need. Now, I understand the fact that because a lot of people don't get the character of Black Adam, don't understand who he is, that you feel the need to force feed, spoon feed a lot of things to the audience. I feel as if the audience today is smart enough to where you don't have to do that. You could just let the story play out. Like in the beginning when they showed everything that happened to who we thought was him. But I knew that was him. I knew that was him next to his son the whole time, like in the beginning, because I was like, that boy don't look like what Rock is going to look like. And the dude next to him, I was like, y'all purposely not showing his face. So that's got to be the Rock right there. We're going to get to the explanation. We're going to get to the explanation later in the movie. But nonetheless, I got that early on. You could have just let that play out, right? You could have let that play for 3-4 minutes. Oh, not even 3-4 minutes. 2.5, 3 minutes in a good enough pacing, in a good enough way where it didn't need all the VO. Like you could have did title card. This is where we are. Boom. Set up the story of what's going on. What happens? Bam. He disappears. The wizards give him powers. All of that. And now we're into the, and then we boom. See that the champion is here. The real champion. Go to present day. Right? Because now later on we'll wonder, well, why is it so fucked up if the champion was there? Like what happened? Because we're still expecting The Rock as the champion and not his son just yet. They didn't need to do that. It felt very forced. And I was like, I wish I was in the room to be able to be like, I don't think it needs that. Next thing, there was a lot of slow-mo. There was a lot of slow-mo. And I'm not upset at it a couple times. That also felt a little heavy-handed. But I wish you could have cut back on some of the slow-mo so you could have gave us that moment of explaining what was going on earlier and not needing an exposition dump. Give me a little bit more about the JSA and give me a little bit more about the villain as well, because like I got and understood that he was the villain, but it almost was like a, what do I want to say? They could have gave him a little bit more as to why he felt that way. And when we find out that he was the last relative of the king that Black Adam killed, that kind of was like, okay, I get what you're doing here. We could have had a little bit more set up or a little bit something else to throw me off, because it felt as if like by the time we got to him and the uncle being in the house, like we knew he was the bad guy because of the whole he shot the guy earlier and the walkie-talkie thing. But we didn't have to get that yet. Y'all could have gave me a little bit more as to like make him feel like, yo, I don't know what's really going on with this dude. Like, why is he not helping them? Or he could have helped them and then was like, haha, sleight of hand, got y'all type of thing, you know? That would have been a little bit better to me. The JSA needed more intros. Needed more from the intros to the backstory. And like I said, Allison Pierce did a great, fantastic job. I wish we could have got more of them. I wish that the intros, while they showed a lot about they showed a decent amount of who the characters were. They could have gave us a little bit more. They could have gave us more. I wish that Hawkman's VO of explaining who these people were Maybe we could see them in action doing something so we get a little bit of taste of who they are independent of the JSA. So that way, when we go back to who they are later on in different movies or different series or whatever the case may be, right? We already had a taste of it and know a little bit more what to expect. That would have been cool. So like if, I don't know, Adam Smasher maybe is like his uncle is showing him something with the suit, right? Or we get a little bit of, if you read the comic, of him fighting people in the warehouse, which we maybe could have gotten in this. And we could have got Quintessa Cyclone maybe saving some people in her neighborhood, or Dr. Fate helping to save those kids. This is from the prequels in the comics that just came out for the movie, where some of that information is coming. And I felt that that would have been strong to be able to add to at least kind of help set up who these characters were, because it's really a intro to all of them within this world. And because Black Adam's intro is so bam, 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 we could have used that to be able to help make them stronger and make a better movie overall. Needed to explain him speaking English and an American accent automatically. You know what would have been fantastic? Obviously, he got knocked out because of the erythrium, right? Him waking up, and maybe the radio is playing. Or maybe he can, maybe like the TV in the front, instead of it playing a Western, even though that payoff was like a little nice later on, maybe instead of that happening, you get something playing in the background, some music, some world news about something that's going on. Or no, actually that could work. You get some world news about what's going on as he's looking at the different comics and stuff and seeing that it's English that's on the wall, right? And you get the English that he's hearing, and maybe from the wisdom that he's getting, right, from the from the wizards that help give him his powers, that can help translate to, okay, he's speaking in his native tongue, and then this is English. This is like, it's almost like gibberish until it becomes English. I felt that would have been so cool to be able to see, just the way in which the powers in his mind work to be able to get him up to speed no matter where he is. And then furthermore, to be like, the people there have an accent, but because what he's hearing is English, boom, now he's speaking English. And I was like, oh, that would have been so great if that would have happened. But he woke up and was speaking English in an American accent. And I was like, I don't have any reasoning for that. And it would have been better if his characters just didn't speak the Kahndaq language at all in the flashback scenes. Because if his character did that, right, and now woke up and is just speaking English in an American accent, it's like, where's the BG for this? I'm getting no background on this. I need that to make this a little bit more believable. The villain felt shoehorned, and that's what I meant by saying that I wish that the villain would have got a little bit more time to show a sleight of hand, right? Because it felt like, all right, I get that he's going after the crown and he's gonna, try and resurrect Sabak, but eventually he turned into Sabak. But a little bit more sleight of hand and a little bit more depth into him at least trying to help them out, instead of automatically being like, oh, he just went outside for some air. Like, come on, bro. Come on. Come on, dog. Come on. Oh, this was one of the biggest things that made me upset. Bro, the ADR in this movie. This movie is too big to have VO for characters talking where we can clearly see them saying something else. Clearly see them saying something. Like, what was it that they originally saying that didn't serve the purpose of the story? Because there were, I think I counted 5 or 6 times that happened, and it irritated me to my soul. Once is enough. Once is enough, because in a movie this big, that should not happen. You have enough money and have enough scheduled reshoots to fly somebody back in and to correct that and make sure that that don't happen. That should not have occurred. That pissed me off, because I was like, this movie is too big. You're putting too much into promo and flying all these people everywhere to put this movie out in front of the world, and y'all had this happen 5, 6, 7 times? No. Unbelievable. Completely unbelievable, out of line. And that gets me back to the point where I said earlier, I don't even know if I actually said this. Maybe I was thinking about it, didn't say it. The Rock did a great job. Like, The Rock, JSA, like all the characters did a fantastic job. Parts of the story, because it was so simple-minded, and which is cool. Like, I'm not. This is just me saying there was potential to be able to tell a greater story. If it wasn't, I would have been like, it is what it is, it's over with. But because there were points that they touched on, I was like, you could have explored that more. Felt like there was more story to be told. That and this ADR VO stuff with them clearly saying something else but making it happen. Like, it took me out the movie because I'm like, this movie was made by Warner Brothers. It's a big studio. I need more from y'all. I need more from y'all because that's the higher ground that y'all walk on, being in the movie business. Shouldn't happen. All right, what next? Quintessa and Noah probably could have gotten more, like I touched on earlier. It felt like, all right, they the newbies. It's their first time on the big screen in a major movie like this. Y'all can get a little bit, but there was a part where some of the battle, I was like, should y'all even be here? Because this is way out of y'all league, which they showed, right? But it also at that point felt like an overpowering for Hawkman and Dr. Fate as well. It would have been interesting if Hawkman and Dr. Fate, like all four of them are holding their own. All right, we need y'all two to do this type of thing. And they do it, but it doesn't all the way kind of happen. Or they like help out, but it doesn't all the way help out, which they a little bit show with Adam Smasher hitting Hawkman earlier. But they could have got a little bit more to me. Or maybe if they would have got that intro in the beginning and we could have seen them helping out in that way, it would have given them some more. Crowd fighting the zombies felt meh to me. Like, that would have been a cool epic scene if they didn't throw up the rock for Jay-Z beforehand. But it felt meh because the kid's ADR, right? The Tomas son ADR threw it off with him clearly saying something else, but the audio was saying a different thing, right? And him like inspiring the crowd. Oh, why am I saying that? All that threw me off. Because the whole speech of his mom being like, but you can do so much more. Let me explain to you how. One-liners like that be hurting me. They really be hurting me because like you can just say, I believe in you. You got more in you. I don't want you to fight these zombies. Go gather the town. Like, I don't know. I gotta think about what else could have been said. But that whole thing was just like, okay. Like, I'm here for the ride. I get it, but like, come on now. And I think that was it. Like, clearly I have more good things to talk about than not so good. But nonetheless, I get what The Rock meant by saying this feels like a phase 1 movie, right? This feels like a beginning movie of, yeah, there are points that we can definitely improve upon. But in terms of setting up a world outside of the core characters of the DCEU and really building this out to make a multifaceted, multi-character wealth treasure trove of a world, I felt this did a good job in being able to do that. It introduced enough new characters for me to be able to care about and want to see more of, and want to see another Black Adam or trilogy or quadruple of Black Adam films. Like, I want to see them improve. I hope that some of the storytelling and the writing improves. That way we can get a much stronger film that the critics and the audiences both love. But I feel like if you a comic book nerd, or even somebody that just likes going to the movies and just want to see something that's fun and take your mind off of things, this is a perfect movie to be able to do that. I don't think you can find anything better right now to be able to. But I felt that this was a really cool movie, a solid 7 out of 10 for me. And Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, thank you so much for making this, for bringing the JSA to screen, for bringing Henry Cavill back, and for being a strong representation of everything that I hope to become in this industry. So thank you so much. With all that being said, thank y'all so much for watching this video. Please remember to make sure that you like, share, subscribe, comment what you thought about the movie. If you agree, disagree, if there's a certain point that I didn't cover enough, let me know that down below and let's talk about it in the comments. Stay blessed, stay favored, always stay tailored. If you got a dream, see it through, and I'll see you next time on my channel, man. Peace and love.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work, cause my boss is a jerk, and I'm not even that paid. I need a change in my life, cause I don't feel alive, and there's nothing that makes me happy. Hold my beer for a minute, I'm about to quit my